22 out of 65. That's interesting. How can you hit a goal you can't see? You know what's worse than that? How can you hit a goal you don't have? All right, happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to Survive to Thrive. We are going to get right into the subject matter for today. I am going to share my screen. Guys, can you see the screen? Okay, we are. We're good.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, so we're going to talk about setting your goals, and I want to share a system that I've used. Everything's about systems. I've used this system for 23 years. It's simple. I think simplicity is the ultimate form of sophistication. It doesn't have to be complicated in order for it to work. So what I want you to do is I want you to start out with a whiteboard in your office. If I'm on a coaching call with you and I ask you, so what's your production look like? I want you to be able to just look to the left, look to the right, and be able to tell me the numbers. It's so important that you have this information in front of you. And I wouldn't speak on this so much if so many real estate agents weren't doing this. So many times I'm talking to real estate agents who don't know the answer to the question. What's your production look like? What have you done year to date? What's your GCI look like? Or they'll open up their computer and they'll go to a spreadsheet and they'll say, give me a minute, I'll look it up. Can you imagine quarterback running to the sideline in a timeout and the coach asking him what's going on in the game and the quarterback saying, give me a moment, let me look at the scoreboard and I'll tell you? No. The coach expects the quarterback to know what's going on in the game. You guys need to know what's going on in your game. Your game is real estate. So start out with a scoreboard. Go get a whiteboard. If you don't have a whiteboard today, go get one. Don't get a little one. You have big goals. You need a big whiteboard in order to have enough space on there for all of your goals. Start over on the left-hand side, beginning of the year with what are your goals? How much money do you want to earn? How many units are you going to close? How many listings are you going to take? How many listing appointments are you going to go on? Exclusive buyer broker agreements and buyer consultations. Now, every month, you're going to track the results for each of your goals for that month, and then you're going to track your year to date, where you are year to date. Now, what should you be tracking daily? You should be tracking how many calls did you make? You should be tracking how many real estate conversations did you have? So calls and contacts. How many new leads did you get? How many appointments did you schedule? How many handwritten notes did you write? Weekly, you should be tracking calls, contacts, new leads. How many referrals did you get? How many appointments did you schedule? How many appointments did you go on? And then monthly appointments held, listing appointments, new listings taken, buyer consultations, exclusive buyer broker agreements, pending contracts, and units closed. There's a few things that I didn't include here that you're going to include over here, like GCI. It's really, really important. So here's what I want you to get from this screen right here. I'm going to go to the next page. We focus on activities, not results, daily and weekly. When you focus on the activities, you always succeed. If you're focused on the results, you may succeed sometimes and other times you're not going to. But you have control over how many calls you're going to make. You have control over how many contacts you're going to have. So if your standard is, I'm going to make phone calls until I've had 10 real estate conversations, then you choose whether or not you're going to hit this number or not. In that way, success is a choice. So is failure. If you're not hitting your goals, you're choosing to fail. You're choosing to fail by not hitting those daily standards, those weekly standards that lead to the monthly results. Now, all right, so what does this look like in practice? You have your goal board, you set your goals for the year, 240,000 GCI. I had 18,000 GCI in June, and my year-to-date number is $96,000. This is what you're going to do every single month. You're going to record your GCI for the month. How many units did you close? How many listings did you take that month? How many listing appointments did you go on? Exclusive buyer broker agreements and buyer consultations. And then you're going to have your year-to-date number on the right-hand side. And this is right in front of you so that you can see it at all times and track. If my year-to-date number is 96,000 GCI, I'm tracking $192,000 for the year. 96,000 GCI year-to-date through June is tracking $192,000 for the year. Now, the goal was $240,000, so we have a gap. We should be at $120,000 by the end of June in order to be tracking $240,000 for the year. So we have a gap of $24,000. So what do we need to do now? We need to adjust the goal. We need to adjust the goal in order to close the gap. So we're going to adjust our monthly goal from $20,000 a month to $24,000 a month. Really simple, right? All right, I'm going to stop my screen share and bring all of you back, guys, here so I can see you. Now you could participate with me. You could raise your hand, ask questions, make comments. But just out of curiosity, I mean, you guys have a digital hand down there. You can just put your hand up right there on your screen, or you could raise your hand and I can see you. And Ashley, I'm coming to you right away. Just give me 1 second. Raise your hand, digital or this, if you have a scoreboard that you can see right now. Okay, I got 2 hands up, I believe. Two out of 65. That's interesting. How can you hit a goal you can't see? If I put a blindfold on you, Joe Tremper, and I put you at the free throw line and I said, okay, we're going to shoot basketballs. We're going to see how many times you could put a ball in the basket. I'm going to spin you around a dozen times. I'm going to put a ball in your hand and I'm going to put a blindfold on you. Go. How many times are you going to make the basket? None. How can 3?
No, I said 0.
Yeah, 0. I was going to say 0 because you can't see the goal. How can you hit a goal you can't see? You know what's worse than that? How can you hit a goal you don't have? Guys, go out and get a whiteboard today. Put this on your wall. Set it up just like I just showed you to. This is recorded. Play it back. Follow the instructions step by step. Just bake the cake. Don't leave part of the ingredients out. All right, Ashley, Aviola, talk to me.
Okay. I have a whiteboard because I'm always looking at it. But I have a question. In your example, the middle column for the month, is that tracking the goal for that month or is that tracking what you've already done for that month? I might have missed that.
That's a good question. In the slide, I used June as my example, right? So every month I'm going to update the numbers for the month, and those are actual results. So when you look at GCI, I think I had $18,000 for the month. These are hypothetical numbers that I made up for the purpose of this class. That would mean I earned 18,000 GCI in June. And then my year-to-date number is, where am I year-to-date? January, February, March, April, May, and June.
Okay. So do you have your monthly goal written or is it just the annual goal that you have written on there?
Well, the monthly goals, the only thing I have as far as goals are concerned are the far left column, which are the annual goals. The monthly goals change based on track.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you.
All right. And Ashley, another thing that's really interesting to me is I ask real estate agents, so, where are you? In other words, what's your production look like? And then I'll ask them, what is track? So many agents are like, what are you talking about? So if I coach you or you're on this call with me, just write this down. So if I ever just out of the blue, like Victoria Mountain, what are you tracking for the end of the year? She knows the answer, by the way. I've been coaching Victoria for 3 years. So here we go. Victoria, what are you tracking for the end of the year?
50 units and 16 million in volume.
There you go. That's the answer. That, by the way, that's amazing. Great job. That's the answer I'm looking for. So many real estate agents, Birgit, don't even know. What are you tracking? I don't know. All right, talk to me, Birgit.
Very true. You can't track what you don't measure. So we have to track so we can actually see where we're going. I'm going to bring it back and just simplify it a little bit because one of the things we get worried about is like how we're going to have those conversations. So if you're going to have your conversations, really tease it out and say, okay, what does it mean for me to have these conversations? How many do I need to have today? And does that mean I am going to leave messages? Yes or no? Does that count? Does a text message count? What counts of me fulfilling this goal that I have set for my day of perhaps having 10 real estate conversations? Get crystal clear on it. I see so many agents being stuck on that because they're not sure. Well, we're not sure. We don't move forward and we're not being stuck. So be clear at the beginning. What's my 10? What does that mean? How am I going to get there? And what are the strategies I'm going to use in order to make those calls happen?
Good stuff. Priceless as always. Thank you, Birgit. Victoria, talk to me.
Just to put it in perspective. So along with what Brigitte said, is that when you don't know what it entails, like, is it a text or a phone call? For me, it entails that they responded. So if I get no response, I got to keep going and going until I get a response. I get a beginning of a conversation, a middle, and an end, right? And so that really stepped up my business, because I used to not track numbers. And when John started coaching me, I was always like, okay, if I do the right thing and help people, the money will come. And that's very true. However, I realized the reason I didn't track my numbers is because I didn't want to be disappointed if I wasn't where I wanted to be. And then I would just kind of take a step back and be like, oh, well, this sucks. I'm never going to get here. And when I started tracking my numbers, then it became breaking down the simple steps. Okay, so I need to have this many conversations a day to get this many clients to get to this many closings. And so it really changed. And I'm in a very small market, guys. So it took a lot of conversations, a lot of calling, and a lot of tracking my numbers. And when we got to third quarter, and to be super transparent, I had probably 4 months this year where I didn't even have a closing. But then I would have a month where I would have a lot of closings. And I'm very, like, I just hibernate. I go. And then I'm like, okay, I don't want to hear real estate. But when we got to the end quarter and John's like, I'm reporting my numbers, and I'm like, I didn't hit where I wanted to be. I had to come out with 17 closings in the final quarter to hit my numbers. And so then we had to go back to basics. And I always go back to basics. So it's not like I'm this amazing person. I'm not. And like, deals just fall on me. It's all numbers. It's all how many conversations I'm having a day, and it's non-negotiable. So just to backtrack how important it is to actually.
Great stuff. So if you know where you are and you know where you're going, how can you get there if you're not paying attention to where you are on the journey? Think of yourself like a 747 that's flying from South Florida to Los Angeles that never pays attention to where it is. It just flies. Can you imagine? It's not going to end up at the destination. Now, it's constantly paying attention. It's constantly making adjustments. You can't make adjustments if you're not tracking where you are and what you're doing. That's the whole conversation behind what is track, because you have to make adjustments in order to get back on track. Mark, talk to me. There was a hand up. Somebody put it down. Oh, it was Jacqueline Foreman. I'm coming right to you, Jacqueline, after Mark.
Okay, yeah. So I have a question. When you're tracking these conversations, are you tracking, like, say if you're calling expires, are you just tracking those conversations? This is a question for John and Victoria. Are you tracking all real estate related conversations, even if you had it like 5 p.m. later on that day? You're like, oh, let me put that on my tracker.
Yep. So good question. Sits on my desk every single day. All I do is track calls, conversations, appointments booked. And for me, Victoria can answer as well. It's all real estate conversations. If I'm talking to my sphere of influence, I'm having care calls, forward conversations. That's a call. And it's a conversation. So it's all real estate conversations for sell by owners, expired, circle prospecting, sphere of influence. What I'm not tracking is current business calls. These are lead generation conversations focused on getting new business. It's not talking to somebody that I'm already working with. Now, if you want to turn talking to somebody you're already working with into a lead generation conversation, really simple. When you call the seller and say, hey, great news, appraisal came in, we're good, we're moving on to closing. Oh, by the way, who do you know that's thinking of selling their home in this next 6 months? Now it's a real estate conversation. Okay, Jacqueline, talk to me. I'm not going to let you off the hook, girl. No putting your hands down.
All right. I really do want to talk about this. All those things that you're talking about and tracking your goals every single day, I'm not great at that. But what I have been great about is making goals. And it started my first year, goals of production I want to do. So it started in my very first year, which was almost 25 years ago. I wanted to make $50,000. To me, that was just like, that was going to be great. And I hit it that first year and I was like, wow, because I went to a Brian Buffini and he said, write it down. And I wrote it down and lo and behold, it happened. A few years later, I wrote a check for $500,000. That's what I was going to make that year. And my husband was like, oh my God, that'll never happen. Well, it didn't happen that year, but it happened within a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just kept focusing on it, kept seeing it. And then, I'm hit that goal that you and I talked about this year as well. But I came across last year, I did a chat GPT of like, the dream life that I wanted. And it came down to like back pain. It came down to how I wanted to eat, how much I wanted to travel, investment properties and stuff. And I hadn't really looked at it in a year. I pulled that thing out and I could not believe how many things I put into motion that were actually happening because I wrote them down. And I have goosebumps and almost tears in my eyes because this really does work. So start with that goal and then do the steps that it takes to get there. I think it's really powerful. But if you don't start with what it is you want and seeing it and writing it down, I don't know how you get there.
There you go.
So, thank you for letting me share.
So glad that I came back to you. You're up. Anna, you're on deck. Birgit, I'm coming to you after Yulia and Anna. Let's go, girl.
So I recently went back to hosting a lot of open houses, and with the area that we're in with Karen is we get a lot of people come to the open house, and a lot of the times they're unrepresented. Okay,
so I dropped you there for a moment. You don't have your camera on, so I don't know if you're still talking or not, but your signal dropped.
So I'm curious if that's also considered part of the prospecting, because I do follow up with these people.
Such a good question. It really is a good question. I think it's up to you. Okay, as long as it's important information for you in order to get where you want to go, then absolutely track those conversations. What I definitely would track from open houses is new leads. How many new leads? Yeah. That I would track 1,000%. I don't think I would track the conversations, but I absolutely would track new leads from open houses.
Okay, because it's an average of 3 leads that you get, like they're unrepresented. And I've scheduled for this week 2 people from that. So
my answer to you, Anna, is do more open houses.
Yes. And the calls, which I always say this, and I mean it. I love you. I love everything that you do because you have changed my business. I've closed 5 deals and this is my 2nd year in real estate. So I mean it when I say it.
Gratefully accepted. Thank you. Yulia, talk to me.
So even though I don't have a whiteboard because I don't have appropriate place for that, but I have my goal in my notes. And I just checked that I already achieved it for this year. While we were on this call, I checked, what about my goals? And really, I already achieved it.
That's really awesome, Yulia. So love hearing that as far as not having a whiteboard because you don't have any place to put it. Okay.
It's on my phone. It's like
I get it,
and I don't want everybody seeing my goals.
I understand, but I'm not going to let you off the hook here. Okay, my wife was like, we got to put these pictures up on the wall. I was like, no pictures, just whiteboards. That's all I want up on the wall is whiteboards. This is the war room, and we're at war. So I need to be able to track how we're doing. Talk to me, Birgit.
Yes, Julia, let everyone see your whiteboards. Own it. You got those goals. Let's just go ahead and own those goals instead of hiding them, right? Jacqueline, I love the vision boarding. I'm a big fan of vision boarding. Mark, for example, you are exactly in that space where it still feels uncertain and what counts as a conversation for you. And so, there's all kinds of ways we can track conversations. And there was some great stuff today on what counts and what doesn't. Take one of those pieces, 2 pieces, and go and execute and go and execute. So you can measure something that then you can adjust because you can see whether it's working or not. The last point of it, beautiful things happen when you actually measure and track because something will come out of that says, hey, that's my sweet spot, or hey, I'm really good at this conversation. And why wouldn't we double down with more energy into the thing that's actually working instead of constantly every day throwing spaghetti against the wall?
Right. Great stuff. Brian Copeland, take us out.
First of all, I never had a whiteboard, John, until you came in my life. So you kind of ruined the aesthetics of my office, but sometimes it feels so good. I think the whiteboard, to me, it creates momentum because you're writing something down when you make those dials, and it's a sense of accomplishment, and it's proving to yourself that you can do something. And it's like you start from the first minute and it's like, all right, 1 call, then 2 calls, then 3 calls. And sure enough, you look up a few minutes later and there's actually momentum and you build confidence. So I think the whiteboard in a weird way is like a big confidence builder because it gives you that sense of accomplishment that you can achieve something and you did something for the day that's meaningful.
Love it. Great call today, guys. Thank you very much. Amazing information shared by all of you. This will be on YouTube. Make sure that you go to my YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Thanks for being here. Thank you for the opportunity to share with you. I appreciate every single one of you. Let's get to work. I will see you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Go make it a great day, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Guys.
Thank you.